am the ag teacher at Harriman High School, and I've been there for 9 years. I am currently a new mom to 3 babies that I adopted out of foster care. That's them. Lily is 5 months old, Micah is 18 months old, and Gabe is 2.5. So to say my year has been a little adventurous since last convention is a bit of an understatement. But they're part of why I'm here. Raise your hand out there. I know I can't see you a lot, but raise your hand if you know the FFA Creed. Awesome. Yay, look, lights. There's people out there. So, those of you that know the FFA Creed, you are lucky. When I was in high school, I did not get to learn the Creed because there were no 9th graders in my school, and my ag teacher didn't want us focusing on that competition. So I didn't learn the Creed until I was a college student and getting ready to run for state FFA officer. Somebody, or just yell out the first 7 words of the FFA Creed when I say go. 7. First 7. Ready? Go. I'm glad some of you can count. Okay, so I believe in the future of agriculture are those first 7 words. Well, when I think of that sentence, 2 pictures come to mind. The first is those 3, sweet kids. And the second is you guys out there. Both groups represent hope and happiness to me. When I look at my babies and when I look at my students, I feel the promise of the future and who they will grow up to be and what they will grow up to do and see. I want their futures to be bright, for them to find happiness, and most importantly, for them to contribute to the world in a positive way. For my students, I see those who are on the brink of this adventure we call life. I see hope and happiness in the things they are learning, in how they are growing, and the efforts they are making to improve things for the world and themselves. Both groups represent the future. In one of my favorite musicals, The King and I, yes, I love musicals, sorry, it's a thing. Mrs. Anna Leonons travels across the world as a British single lady to Siam to teach the children of the Siamese king. She sings, "It's a very ancient saying, but a true and honest thought, that if you become a teacher, by your pupils you'll be taught." And boy, have I learned these last 9 years. The Creed continues with a faith born not of words, but of deeds. Being an ag teacher has taught me that the faith I have in the future is a result of the deeds of my students. Last year, when I was going through an extraordinarily rough patch in my journey to adopt my children, a loving group of my FFA officers showed up at my house unexpectedly with dinner and words of comfort. People have repeatedly told me when I tell them what I do that working with teenagers must be hard because teens today are supposedly selfish and entitled. But I've got to tell you, I just don't see it. The deeds of service I have seen my students perform outnumber any level of selfishness described by the public at large. The FFA Creed continues in the end of the 2nd paragraph. I know the joys and discomforts of an agricultural life and hold an inborn fondness for those associations which, even in hours of discouragement, I cannot deny. After teaching in 9 years in what might not be considered a traditional ag program, I think this paragraph is the most important to me and describes why I stay. I did not grow up on a farm. I currently don't have the pleasure of living on a farm, but I do love agriculture. I've experienced the joy of helping things grow, plants, animals, and students. I've experienced the discomfort of grumpy parents, long bus rides, sketchy hotels, failed greenhouse experiments, and a general lack of understanding about the incredible thing that is ag ed. But at the end of the day, I must say there's a fondness inside of me for the adventure that is teaching ag. Every day I get to experience something new, even if it's a lesson I have given 50 times or my 14th state FFA convention. Every day I get to do something I love, and most mornings I wake up excited to go to work and get started. In continuing to teach, I am letting my children and my students know that while they're my first priority, that their mom and teacher is passionate about what she does. And while it is hard sometimes to find the balance, I hope I'm continuing to contribute to making the world better through education. If you out there are wondering about what you want to do in the future, if you're looking for a career that is ever changing, that involves the outdoors, that allows you to continue to learn and grow, where the difference you make comes back to visit every once in a while to let you know how things are going, where you'll always be the first to know what is in style or popular, including the latest dance moves, where your colleagues, who are also your biggest competition, send you congratulatory texts from across the state when they hear about your students succeeding, where you'll laugh until you cry, and cry with joy when you see a student tackle something difficult and come out on top. Please consider teaching agriculture. It has changed my life for the better, and I can feel that when I leave this life, I can say I've contributed. Thanks.